yeah, so I wanted to come and try something different and see if it would work. So I'm going to be doing live episodes every Monday on Instagram, and that will then be solo episodes for My Life Beyond Limits that will also go out on a Monday. So I'm super excited about that. In true M fashion, I decided to do the first one today, having had a dental appointment booked in. So I had to quickly rush there, found nowhere to park, was driving around for about 20 minutes, managed to be seen for all of about 2 minutes, if that, and then came home. Hi, Sally. And I am now here live with this episode. So I really want to spend some time talking about self-sabotage, because this is something that I see happening a lot with the clients that I work with. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a transformation coach. I work with incredible people to really help them to reduce and release the resistance around self-worth, money, and success. And one of the things that I find is that people often hit a wall. We can all reach a certain level of success or certain level of happiness or certain level of love, or whatever it may be in our lives that we feel comfortable with. But the minute that we then go beyond that level and start to go into new territory, we can often find ourselves retracting, or suddenly challenges and obstacles start to come in our way. And this is then very much linked with self-sabotage. And we can then create problems that will cause us to stay within our normal limits. And if anyone has read The Big Leap by Guy Hendricks, or Gay Hendricks, depending on how you say his name, you'll know what I mean when I talk about upper limit problems, because somewhere along the line, we created a contract, an invisible contract of how comfortable we would be with certain levels of success, money, love, happiness, whatever it may be. And the moment that we reach that level and we get close to going beyond it, we can then cause ourselves to sabotage in some way. We can create an argument out of nowhere. We can suddenly retract and procrastinate and start questioning our abilities. We can start sabotaging our success. We can start to see challenges that weren't perhaps there before because fear is getting in the way and we're entering into the unknown. And so we pull back. And the reality is, in order for us to become limitless and to go on and achieve a lot of the things we want to achieve, it means that we need to broaden that thermostat. We need to allow ourselves to be comfortable with receiving more success, more happiness, more abundance in our lives. And in order for us to do that, we have to start pushing ourselves beyond that normal limit. We have to stop allowing that sabotage to come into play. One of the ways that you can manage sabotage is to actually know that it's happening, because again, we don't really know that we're sabotaging. We've often experienced these patterns of sabotage for a number of years, and therefore just assume that that is just our way of life. That is just how we are. And so we adapt around it, we accept it on some capacity. But when you start to recognize that it is actually just sabotage, and with any of these things, if it is about sabotage or about anything that we are doing to ourselves, we have the ability to make a choice and to change that. But the only way that we can do that is by recognizing it in the first place. And so I just wanted to spend some time during this episode, talking about the ways in which we sabotage our success. We don't know what we don't know. It's all about building awareness. It's all about seeing patterns that come through that perhaps you're like, oh yeah, that sounds like me. When you recognize that, you then have the ability and the choice to actually do something about it. So I just want to share with you 6 common patterns that I see with people when they are sabotaging. And so the first one is talking ourselves out of things. Now, I know that I'm not the only one on this planet that does that, and I see this an awful lot, where you can be really excited about doing something. It might be launching a new program, it might be going live, it might be going out on a date, it might be wanting to go for a job, a new job opportunity. And even before you've allowed the chance to put yourself forward, you're talking yourself out of it. You're reminding yourselves of when you've perhaps previously done something similar and things haven't worked in the way that you want it to, and suddenly you start to think of all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Like, you know, I do a lot of talking on stage, and it could be, you know, I could then be like, oh no, I don't know the audience. I haven't done a live event, of face-to-face in-person live event for a while, and I don't want to do that. Or it might be that someone is going for a promotion, but the last time they did that, they didn't get it, or it didn't go very well. And so our ego and our fear reminds us of all of these previous experiences, and over time we start to talk ourselves out of it. We start to think of, oh, I'll wait till next time, now's not the right time, I need to learn this a bit more, I need to wait for this, I need to have achieved this before I can then go for that. And we can talk ourselves out of this, and this is just simply our ego keeping us safe, our ego keeping us small, because it likes to remind us of the things that have gone on in our past that perhaps didn't go in the way that we want it. And because our ego is designed to protect us, it feels that it is protecting us by reminding us not to do that so we don't get hurt again. But the truth is, we can never experience the same experience twice, because we will be different people going through that experience to the first time that we went through it. And in that experience comes lessons, comes confidence, comes feedback, comes insights, because you have overcome it in some capacity. It might not have necessarily felt like it at the time, but you're still here now, you're still doing stuff, you're still going on with ambitions and with goals. So you have learned something, you have survived. Therefore, you're going to go into any experience with experience and with knowledge on how to handle certain situations. And so it's just really a case of, when it comes to you looking to try new things and you find yourself talking yourself out of it, is to first off notice that you're doing it, but secondly just question why. Is this a genuine reason as to why you shouldn't be doing something, or is this just a fear-based reaction habit to anything that you're doing when you're going past that limit, when you're taking yourself out of the comfort zone that we live in, and you're pushing yourself beyond? Because if it is a fear-based habit that is being challenged and pushed, then you can move beyond that. Then you can start to remind yourself of all the times when you've done things and it has gone well. You can start to allow yourself to see that any of these opportunities is an opportunity for growth, to learn more about you, to understand more about yourself, to push your boundaries and to see how far you can go, to allow yourself to really start to see that you are far more successful, more able, more capable than perhaps you've given yourself credit for. So it'll give you the confidence boost to go on and do other things. But it's acknowledging it, showing compassion without judgment, and then working on ways in which you can reframe it and rewire your mind to actually start to see beyond that and to recognize it is just an ego thing. If, however, everything in your gut or in your body is going, no, don't do it, then I suggest that there is a valid reason as to why you should not be doing that. But it's then knowing the difference between your gut as a hell no versus a fear, oh, this just feels unfamiliar, don't do it because it's scary and you don't know what's going to happen. So spend some time just kind of identifying what those two feelings look like for you. Perhaps there's a time where you knew that you definitely should do something but didn't, or whether there was a real gut feeling that you shouldn't do something but you did it because everyone else was doing it. You'll know how your body reacted. Get used to that. I know when I was doing a challenge not so long ago, there were some things that my coach was suggesting I should do that I really didn't want to do, and I felt my whole body retract. And when I went against that retraction and did it because I felt that I should, everything just went wrong. And so it's like learning to know if it's a gut reaction or a genuine fear reaction or an ego reaction. So that's number one. Number two, one of the ways that I see people sabotaging is that they refuse to take action until you've got the perfect solution. And we're all perfectionists at some point, at some point, where we like to do things and to do it well. We don't want to be judged by people. We don't want to let people down. We don't want to fail. And so we can hold off from taking action until we've got the perfect solution, the perfect program, the perfect script, the perfect outfit, the perfect body, the perfect results that we can then use, that will then help us to gain this perfect outcome that we want. But the reality is, what's perfect for us is not going to be perfect for everybody else, and what we think is perfect for our clients might not be perfect for them either. And so actually perfection does not exist, and it's just another form of procrastination, and it holds us back because of that fear. And it's like, are we really wanting it to be perfect, or are we using it as an excuse because we're worried that if we put something out there, we're going to get rejected, we're going to get turned down, we're going to find out whether something works or not? And that can feel really hard and really scary. And I want to just spend some time just looking at two reframes, because the things that I have discovered in my own experience and then working with other people is that failure does not exist. It is just an opportunity to gain feedback, a feedback on whether something works or whether it doesn't. It allows you to create a new starting point. So you're not starting from way back here. You know what you need to do in order to move forward, and you've made that first initial step. So you're one step further ahead than you were. So it's all about progress. Hi, Nicola. And progress is better than perfection. But also it's about knowing that actually sometimes when we are, in quotes, failing, it's actually the universe protecting us. So rejection can sometimes be redirection. It can be stopping us from going down a path we think that we should be going down in order to get the results that we want, and allowing us to pivot and to go down the right path. Now, often, you know, we can bang on doors, pull on doors, desperate for it to open, because we're so focused on, well, this is how we're going to get the results that we want. And the reality is life is happening for us. And so if that door does not open, it's not that anything personal, it's just redirecting you to a different door that will open, that will either have a lesson in there that you need to learn to become the person that you want to be, or to take you on a quicker route, a route that's going to save you time, money, and emotions. And so really allow yourself to think about, this is, life is happening for me, not to me. And so if something is not working, then we need to look at it. Is it not working because it just needs some finer tweaks? Is it not working because the energy behind it that I'm putting in is very much from a lack scarce mentality? And so you could be putting all the action in, which is great, and your mind and your energy could be in the gutter thinking, shit, this is just not going to work. Or is it that there is another route? Things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So if that door is shutting, or if you're struggling to get results in the direction you're wanting to go, then start looking at what it is that you're doing and what changes you can make, rather than looking at it's got to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. As I said, what's perfect for me is not perfect for you, and what's perfect for you won't be perfect for the next person. And so just allow yourself the opportunity to go, do you know what, I'm going to find something out in the action that I take. It's either going to be that I'm going to get the results that I want, or it's going to provide me with a lesson that will save me time and energy. I will then know what works and what doesn't. And that's all it is. And with the judgment side that then comes with that, because we then think, oh shit, I can't take action until it's right because I might fuck it up. And I don't want to fuck it up because then people will laugh at me or they'll judge me. And the harsh reality is, in this world, we are judged regardless of what we do. We'll be judged whether we take action. We'll be judged if we don't take action. We'll be judged if we take the right action, the wrong action, silly action, any action. People will judge us regardless. But if you just focus on what it is that you want to achieve and allow yourself the opportunity to see everything as a lesson and feedback, and not worry about what other people are thinking or feeling about what you're doing, and just focus on the people around you that support you, but more importantly, your mission, your why, and you, then it will allow you to navigate through that. And then you'll find yourself not sabotaging quite so much. It'll be like, right, why am I talking myself out of this? What am I actually waiting for? The best way to grow is to have conversations with yourself and to start asking questions. There is so much power and growth and awareness that can come from asking yourself questions, because you know yourself better than anybody else. You have everything within you to achieve whatever you want, but you also have the ability to stop yourself from achieving it. Not external circumstances, not that you're not doing enough, not that, you know, this is wrong, or that person was an idiot or they spoke badly to you, you have the ability within you to have the mental resilience, the mental power to push through these challenges, to reframe how you see them, and to go on and keep going and creating amazing stuff. Not one person that I know who you would deem to be very successful has done something right the first time. Every single person has doubted themselves. Every single person has failed at something. That's where we grow the most. That's where we learn the most. Success is amazing, but it's in the time of failings or mistakes that we actually learn more about ourselves and about our mission and whether it's what we want. And in those moments, we then find the power to then go on, and the motivation and the strength to go on and to achieve amazing things. Hey, darling, you okay? So number 3 is constantly changing goals. Now, I see this a lot, especially in the online coaching world. A lot of my clients might be gearing up to launch a new program, to run a challenge or whatever. And I can see them making changes at the last minute because they're procrastinating, they're holding back, they're thinking, it's got to be perfect, I need to make these changes, I need to do this. That didn't work, I tried it once and it didn't work, so I've got to move on to something else. And the reality is, it might not be that you're not there yet, but that doesn't mean that you're not ever going to get there. You could have the perfect program. It could just mean that the energy behind it is not where it needs to be, that you're sabotaging it because you're taking amazing action following this great strategy, but in your mind you're going, this isn't going to work, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, last time I did this I screwed it up, so what's the point, no one's going to buy. And so when you're showing up in the world, doing the action, taking the steps forward, the energy is pulling you back, your mind is pulling you back, and so you're in a push-pull conflict. So again, it's about understanding the awareness. When you're changing your goals, do you really need to change it, or are you not giving it time for growth, for feedback, for expansion? Are you just moving on to the next thing, hoping that no one remembers the other thing that you've done, and you can then focus all your time and energy into the new one and see how that works? Because you could have the most amazing product, the most amazing opportunity that just needs a few little tweaks and it is going to skyrocket. But quite often through fear, through ego, we think, oh, it's not worked, that's embarrassing, I don't want to be judged, I failed, let's move on to something else. Take the time to analyze, look within, look to see what's going on, look at the bigger picture. We tend not to look at the bigger picture, we look at the here and the now with judgment and think, shit, it's all falling to pieces, I'm not doing this, I can't work, I'm never going to make it, I'm never going to be as good as whatever, I'm never going to get promoted, I'm never going to get a boyfriend, when they're right there, just behind these few little tweaks that we need to make. Which leads me on to number 4, which kind of ties into it, which is when people are sabotaging, it's because they're focusing on the things that go wrong rather than the things that they want. And being really, really clear on your mission and your why will really help you to power through that. But equally, knowing what you're doing all of this for, having gratitude for the things that you've got in your life, celebrating the small wins, no matter how big, how small they are, but the acknowledgements that you have of progress. Because all too often I see too many people finishing the day with, well, I didn't do that, that was shit, I could have done that better, I've still got 110 million things to do and I've only done 5 today, and can just go on a real negative tangent that just ends up dampening your energy, knocking your confidence, knocking your trust, knocking your belief, and causing you to retract. And sabotage is all about retracting back into what we know. We want to be able to support ourselves enough to grow and to expand and to take that first step into the unknown, because it's only the first step that is the hardest. When you've done 1 step, then you've done 2, then you've got experience to show, well, I survived that first step, the second step will be okay. Then you start building momentum, then you start to build that trust, that competence, and everything starts to come through. So instead of focusing on what could go wrong, start to think about what could go right. Start to focus, even if it is just for 5 minutes every day, focusing on the things that you're working towards and just giving yourself that gift of time to spend, whether it's in the shower, whether it's when you're exercising, when you're driving, whatever it may be, where you allow your mind to daydream and for you to get the results that you want. Recently, I've not been sleeping great because I've been making up really powerful, amazing dreams of certain milestones and goals that I want to hit in my business, and I've been allowing myself to celebrate, and then I've been getting so excited that I then expand that dream and really feel the emotions and the feelings that come with it. But when we start to focus on what we want, it allows our mind to create the opportunity and open up that pathway. Our mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. It will go where energy flows. And so if our energy is focused on it not working, it all going wrong, then it will go wrong, and we'll come up against challenges and evidence to support that. But if we can spend some time programming our mind to focus on the things that could go right, then we start to create that opportunity. And when it comes to our mind creations and manifestations and all of that amazing stuff, we don't have to spend hours upon hours upon hours willing it to come. It's just subtle tweaks that will allow our mind to reframe, to start to see things differently, to start to generate different thoughts that will ultimately impact how we feel, which will then impact the actions that we take, which will then impact the results that we have. And that all comes from seeing things differently and allowing new thoughts to come into your mind. Does that make sense? Let me know. Anyone who's live, let me know if that's making sense to you all. Number 5, saying you want to do things and then doing the opposite. Oh my God, I've been so guilty of this. And I know there's some people watching on Instagram right now that will go, yes, you've said that you want to do things, but you're not acting in the way that you should be if you want to do these things. And again, that's just our fear, that's our ego, that's us wanting to stay protected because we don't want to screw things up. We don't want to mess up or be judged or let people down. And so we will talk a good talk about all the things that we want to do, and we can hide ourselves in busyness, pretending to ourselves and on the outside looking really busy and like we're doing stuff. But the reality is we're not taking the action that's moving us towards the outcomes that we want. We're just taking action for action's sake and moving ourselves away from it. And when we become distracted, we can then go down rabbit holes of comparisons or busyness or doing things that other people are doing, thinking that it's going to help us, and we're not aligned with it, and it's not an emotional connection to you. It's not going to generate the outcomes that you want, and it's going to be very different to if you're solely focused on what it is that you want to do. The action that you're taking is coming from nudges, from pulls that just feel really cool, really easy, really in flow, really sort of expansive and fun, because it's like, wow, I suddenly had this urge to listen to this live today or listen to a podcast, and there was a message or a sentence in there that you needed to hear or that transformed you and made everything click into place. Or all of a sudden, you know, you're deciding you want to do something, and in that moment of deciding, you take a different route to work or on your daily walk, and you bump into someone who opens up an opportunity for you or asks you to do something or whatever it may be, and suddenly you're moving towards it. Now, too often we wait or we do the wrong things. And busyness is great, but actually sometimes not doing anything is more productive than doing stuff for doing stuff's sake, because we can get burnt out and tired. We can get demoralized, frustrated and pissed off because we're doing things and we're not getting the results that we want. And so it's really about looking at what do you need to do and making the commitment to do it, and to do it in small bite-sized chunks so it's not overwhelming and massive, and then to celebrate it, to recognize the growth that you've had, the feedback that you've received along the way, and what's come from that, and celebrate it. Because when we do that, we acknowledge. When we ignore it, we're just showing like the universe and ourselves that actually our growth isn't important and not relevant to us. And then if we're putting that energy out, then we're going to get evidence to support that. And then the final one, which kind of links into the one I've just been speaking about, is that we waste time on low priority tasks. We suddenly are in the middle of, oh, I really want to go live, I really want to do this, but I've got to go and hang the washing out, or I've just got to go and empty the dishwasher, or I just need to go and, I don't know, do the hoovering or whatever it is, and we distract ourselves, and we think, right, I'm going to be really, really productive. And instead of doing the big scary thing first, we build up and do the little things. And then we get distracted with that, and then the big thing never gets done, and we're like, well, I'll do that tomorrow. It's like, no, if you find yourself putting things off and not doing the things that are going to move the needle, then you've got to question why. Right? It can't just be, oh, well, I'll do that tomorrow, it's because I'm tired, it's because of this, that, and the other. Is it, have you spent too long fanning around on social media? Have you been burning yourself out because you've been doing loads of busy things, busy actions that aren't relevant to anything that you're working towards, but are justifications for you doing stuff? You know, are you waiting for that perfect time and that perfect opportunity? Then you remind yourself there is no such thing. Let's go for it now. There is nothing better than going for something right now and seeing what feedback you get, because you end the day knowing something more than you knew when you first woke up. And that in itself is growth. If we're just staying the same, we're stagnant or we're going backwards. And we don't want to be. Life is evolving around us. We need to evolve to keep up. And the only way that we can do that is to take action and to trust in ourselves enough to try something new each day, no matter how big or how small it is. So I just wanted to share these with you. I hope that these make sense. If there's any of these points that are like resonating with you and you're like, holy shit, I do that quite a lot, then take the judgment away from any of this. This isn't what it is. You know, this isn't the whole purpose of this episode. This is to help to build awareness, because when you have awareness, you know what to do with it. If you know that you're doing it and you then continue to do it regardless in the hopes that one day it will generate different results, then that's maybe when you can get a little bit annoyed. But the reality is we don't know what we don't know. If some of these actions are coming through to you and you're like, do you know what, I do go through that and I do feel that sometimes, show that compassion piece to yourself. Start to ask questions, start to dive a little bit deeper, because the results aren't in the external world. The answers that you're looking for are within you right now, and they have the capacity to change anything. And when your mindset and when your energy is aligned with the goals that you want, with your trust, with your belief, then everything will just feel easier. Trust me, as someone who has gone against the grain for the last 3 or 4 years, and who constantly has to be reminded that alignment trumps everything, and is very much wired to believe things can't be that simple, or maybe I should be doing this because that's what other people are doing. I know that when you trust in yourself and you break these things down, life feels so much easier and things come to you so much easier. And so don't allow sabotage to become your natural way of thinking, to be your accepted way. Well, this is how life is, and I'm obviously not meant to do this, that, and the other. And start exploring it and seeing it, well, this is just the stepping stones to my success. This is going to give me the information that I need that's going to help me to move forward. And if I can work through any of these blocks or these limitations that are coming up for me, then it's going to give me a far better opportunity to achieve my goals than if I just ignore them. So I hope that that makes sense. If there's any aha moments that come through, please tag me in this episode or drop a comment in the live, let me know. And I will look forward to seeing you all next week. So I've made this promise. I've started something new. I'm now going live. Who does a podcast live? Like, I love a podcast, but and I love lives, but I don't tend to do a podcast live because, you know, you never know whether it's all going to work. So this is a risk. This is me going out of my comfort zone. This is something that I've held off for too long, and I've bitten the bullet. And I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to do it because I want to go live more. I want to do more solo episodes. So let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone and see how we go with it. So this is the first of many. So have an amazing week, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Bye for now.